welcome to episode 32 of Rational Romantics. Today you have just Cass. Unfortunately, Deb is not able to be here today, but she's thinking of us, and we're going to answer, or I'm going to answer, some of your fan questions today, and update you on some pop culture stuff that has been happening. So, we got a great episode for you, even with just Cass. I hope I'm not too much of a disappointment without Deb, but yeah. I actually thought of it's almost exactly the 5th year anniversary of the first time that I went live on Instagram. It was right before Halloween. It was sometime in mid-October, something like that. 5 years ago, which is so crazy because I knew that I wanted to go live for, I think it was 5,000 followers, which is so nuts and such a world apart from what it is now. And just fun little behind the scenes thing of being a content creator. Instagram is currently freaking out at me. It has my entire account completely locked down. I have not done anything today because I can't post, I can't comment, I can't I can't message, I can't post stories, literally nothing. And they're not telling me why. I looked at my account status and it's like, everything is fine. You have access to every single thing. But anytime I go to do anything, I get an error message that says it's locked until Sunday. So I have no idea what's going on with that. So when you go to listen to this and you're like, I wonder why I haven't seen Cass for 3 days. That's why. Okay, so with that out of the way, we do have some really major pop culture updates to talk about before we dive into your fan questions, because you guys supplied some fantastic fan questions, pun intended. So I can't wait to dig into those. But first, I feel like I want to address the Buccaneers got renewed for a season 3, which honestly I didn't think was going to happen. Okay, I'm realizing, because I usually, when we do this, I watch Deb. If you're watching the video version of this, I'm staring at myself instead of you guys. But it's because I usually watch Deb. This is weird. All right, let me try to look at the camera like I know what I'm doing. So the Buccaneers got renewed for a season 3, and I think that came as a little bit of a surprise. At least it came as a little bit of a surprise to me. Not because I didn't think they were going to get a season 3, after we got season 2. I really thought we did, and I thought they were going to, I thought it was going to be awesome and we were going to get renewed really quickly. But when that didn't happen, I kind of lost hope. I felt like, you have Christine Froseth, who is off in Netflix now doing another Edith Wharton show. She's doing The Age of Innocence. They just started filming on that. And, all of these people are off doing all of these things. Matt Broom is doing the Your Fault, My Fault series. And I just felt like, I was like, oh man, this must be not going. Cause it had been oh my gosh, it's been over a month for sure. Maybe even 2 months since it ended. And maybe it's PTSD from My Lady Jane. I don't know. But I didn't think we were going to get a season 3. So when they announced, I basically was turning cartwheels. I can't even believe it. And obviously Deb and I talked a ton about the Buccaneers season 2 on this podcast. We had some amazing, amazing guests who have worked on it. Jenny Rhodes McLean, who does the makeup, the hair and makeup. And then obviously Vanessa Coffey, who's the intimacy coordinator. And I gotta tell you, I am really looking forward to talking to those people again and more people about the Buccaneers in the future, because fantastic show. I do think, obviously we have not made a secret on this podcast that we didn't like some of the directions that they went in season 2. But I do think that they still have really good characters, a great story, and just so much potential, so many places to go with this series. I am wondering, I don't know anything, so this is just very broad speculation from my part. I wonder if Christine is maybe Nan, she plays Nan. Christine, who plays Nan, if she is not going to be in season 3, question mark, or going to be in it very little, because she's the only person from the main cast, at least that I saw, who didn't share about the season 3 renewal, and she was online. She was doing Age of Innocence stuff, which, okay, I might be just totally reading into something because she was super, super busy and starting off her set experience and starting off filming the Age of Innocence, and maybe it just got lost in the shuffle or whatever. But I can't help but wonder and feel like, I mean, are they setting Nan free? Is that the point of the end of season 2 where, but then she's pregnant with Theo's baby, so that doesn't make sense. I don't know. But it just felt like maybe they were setting up, especially with Theo and Lizzie, and maybe transitioning the kind of main character reality to Lizzie more. I wonder if they're gonna have less of Nan. And I wonder if maybe in like the first half of the season or something, she's gonna be elsewhere and come back, like with the baby. I don't know. But it's making me wonder, and it's making me speculate what that could mean. So I'm really interested. I'm really excited for season 3. And I can't wait. I mean, obviously the costuming is so gorgeous. The makeup, it's such a clever use of kind of the modern style mixed with the old time setting. Yeah, I just love it. And I really hope that they can kind of find the happy medium of pacing and things, and character development that we're really, really looking for, that kind of, well, balances. So I'm optimistic and I am excited. Another show that we have talked to people from, specifically Rachel Reed, the author of the book Heated Rivalry. The trailer dropped for Heated Rivalry, and I'm not okay. It looks so good. I'm freaking out. I've had the trailer on a loop since it dropped on Thursday. And if you don't know, guys, Heated Rivalry is a book by Rachel Reed, which is about queer hockey players, and they are like rivals from their teenage years, and then they fall in love, and they're like together for several years in secret, and then they decide to be together, and it's really beautiful. I just reread the book because I couldn't stand. I read it for the first time only in like, I don't know, May or June, something like that, and I just needed to be in that world again. I'm slowly consuming everything Rachel Reed has ever written. She's absolutely fantastic. Just writes such amazing, like, queer hockey romances. They're so good. But the show, I'm on cloud 9. I cannot wait. It's so perfectly casted. It looks really good. And I was a little worried because obviously you're always concerned when a book goes to screen that it's not going to work, like it's not going to function. It's going to maybe sound cheesy or hokey. And a lot of scenes that are in books are really hard to translate to screen, just logistics wise, or, you know, people can get away with saying things on a page that they can't get away with saying when they're a person or an actor. And I just didn't feel that at all with this series. It feels very solidly written. It feels like it's adapting the book in a really respectful and compelling way. I think that they're going to weave in the first book in this series into this, which is about Scott and Kip. I'm actually currently reading their book right now because when I saw that trailer, I was like, oh, they're going to play a role, so I better read it. So all of this to say, if you have not seen the trailer for Heated Rivalry yet, it's on my page, but it's also, you can look up Heated Rivalry Crave on Instagram, and they've got it there. It's steamy, which is delightful, and super gay, and we love that here. So I'm really excited, and I can't wait to talk to Rachel again, and maybe some other people from the series. That's just me manifesting. We have nothing up our sleeves. That's just me manifesting. So with that said, I do want to dive in to your fan questions because you guys have some fantastic ones to dive into. Okay, so the very first one, and I feel like it's probably the one that's at the top of everybody's brain because it's at the top of my brain. So at Steffi Roma 81 asked, when are they announcing the official release date for Bridgerton season 4? I have gotten this question so many times. I totally understand it. Because, guys, where the fuck is the official announcement? That's how I'm feeling, too. I So we got the leak last Friday, and I was surprised that we didn't get the official one on that Friday. And then, we all kind of sat there and we were like, okay, leak is great, great. Maybe Monday. No Monday. All right. And then I was thinking to myself, I'm like, it's got to be Friday, because probably the Netflix Netherlands that posted the leak, they probably just got their Fridays mixed up, and it's going to be the next Friday. Still nothing today. And I don't know what they're waiting for, honestly. So I can't tell you. I don't know. I feel like sometimes my brain is right on the money with the Bridgerton marketing team, but in this case it is not. So I don't know what they're waiting for. I don't know. I do want to kind of assure everybody that they're not changing it because of a leak. I mean, I would say almost for sure, like, that's not gonna happen. So I think that those are the real dates. If something is off, like when we got the leaked date before for season 3, it leaked that it was going to be December 12th or 13th, something like that. And then it wasn't that date, but that was because of the strikes. So that wasn't because of the leak. So I don't think that they're changing their whole marketing strategy or anything just because a leaked date came out there. Because I know that that's been a concern from some people, but I think that's not something to really worry about. I think we'll be fine. I do think those are the real dates. So this maybe goes into the next question, which this is from Natalie7237. So they asked, what do you think is coming out on October 30th in terms of Bridgerton news? So if you've been keeping up with the pod, Ollie Higginson, who plays Footman John, when he came on the podcast, he talked about he has a show October 30th at the Grace in London. I believe it is sold out, so but good for him. He talked about that there is going to be Bridgerton news. So, I mean, we're left to speculate. I do think that, I feel like the release date has to come by the end of the month. So is there a possibility that we're getting the release date on October 30th? Sure. I would be surprised if it takes that long. I feel like this upcoming week is, like, they have to announce by this upcoming week. It just feels, I don't know, it just feels like it has to be true, but maybe not. They have done, they've announced a release date as little as 3 months before the date, I think. So that would put us in, like, wait, no, that would still put us in October, November. Yeah. So yeah, okay, I can't do math, guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, it has to, we have to have the date by then. Okay, so I think it's possible, yes, that we would get the release date on October 30th. What I'm really hoping for more than that, because I'm hoping that we will have already gotten the release date by October 30th, I'm hoping that we hear something about Ollie's music in Bridgerton Season 4. And I don't know if it's promotion or in the show or what is going to happen with that, but from what he told us, it just feels so sure to me that his music is deeply and intimately entwined with Bridgerton and with Season 4. So I am extremely hoping that we get official confirmation of that on October 30th, because it's such a big deal, and obviously Deb and I feel so kindred to that, because, edits that we made and discussions that we had have pushed those conversations forward, according to Ollie. So that's deeply meaningful to us. So we're really, really, really excited. Speaking of the music in Bridgerton, we have another absolutely great fan question that I'm so excited to dig into. So at Kayla Deischer 17 asked, are there certain Taylor Swift songs you'd assign to Bridgerton characters? Yes, so many. I actually did a series on my page where I went through all 3 seasons of Bridgerton and Queen Charlotte and attached different Taylor Swift tracks to different scenes. I did, like, oh my gosh, it was like 20 or 30 a season. It was crazy. And it was so, so, so fun. So go check that out if you want to go look at all my thoughts on that. But I did want to dive in with the 12 Life of a Showgirl tracks and who I think that goes with in Bridgerton. The first one, The Fate of Ophelia, I feel like has to be Francesca and Michaela. I mean, dug me out of my grave, saved my heart from the fate of Ophelia, all of that, pain that Francesca's gonna go through. Even like the I pledge allegiance to your team feels so accurate to me because like Francesca's gonna go play for the other team. Like, just feels so perfect to me. So the fate of Ophelia is just extremely Frankela coded, and I kind of hope we see it in that season. I think we should do it. I think we should make it one of their iconic songs, along with "Good Luck Babe" by Chappell Roan. Okay, then I really struggled with Elizabeth Taylor. I felt like maybe Penelope, because this idea of like other people withered away under the spotlight, and I'd trade the Cartier for someone to trust, and then she's like, just kidding. That feels kind of Penelope and the kind of badass version of Penelope that we've seen. So I'm gonna go for that. And then also the crying your eyes violet, like Penelope and those big giant beautiful blue eyes that Nicola has. She does a lot of crying in season 3, so I'm gonna call that one for Penelope. But that one was harder than the first one. Opalite gave me George and Charlotte. And like the sky is such a big thing, and onyx and opal, I mean, gemstones are different obviously than like astronomy, but it felt kind of, the natural world. It felt connected. And just like Charlotte is his Venus, she's his North Star, she's his light, and it goes from he was sleepless in the onyx night, and she comes in, and now his sky is opalite. And I just absolutely love it for them. It just feels like, I feel like I want to do a video of them and their last dance at like the Starlight Ball, like with opalite set over it. It just feels right. And dancing through the lightning strikes and all of the horrible, hard things that they go through. Yeah, like I said, it feels good. It feels like them. Okay, and then father figure is really hard because as soon as I saw that as a track title, I went, oh yeah, that's an Antony song. But that kind of mentor-protege relationship isn't present as much for Antony. But I still think he fits in the that role a little bit. I think you also could get a distinct sense for either Sophie or Penelope in that, where these, women that like lord over them, whether that's Portia or Araminta, and Portia has significantly more redemption, I would assume. We haven't seen Araminta yet, but Portia sucks, but Araminta is the worst. So I could very much see this as a Sophie song. Especially as she's taking back that power from Araminta. But Araminta never saw her as like a protege or anything. So it's not a one-to-one, but I think that kind of slightly antagonistic relationship from somebody who's supposed to be a parental figure to you, I think that fits. Eldest daughter. Eldest daughter was written for Kate Sharma. It was. And her relationship with Antony, it was written for Antony too, because same, the Antony being like, I'm not a bad bitch is so real, because Kate kind of is a bad bitch, but she has that massive vulnerability in her that she's not allowed to show, or doesn't allow herself to show to anybody, until she and Antony are able to kind of connect on that level and both be vulnerable together. And I think that's what makes them so perfect and beautiful. And so Eldest Daughter is that is a Kate song if I've ever heard it. And it's a Kate and Antony song, both separately and together. I actually just did an edit of them with this song, and it just moved me to tears. It's so them, and I love it. Okay, then just as clearly, Ruin the Friendship is a Penelope and Colin song. That is a Pollen song from start to finish, except for nobody dies in in Pollen's world. They, as opposed to in actually, or in oh my god, in Ruin the Friendship. Uh, but it's so that it's the advice I'll give you is always ruin the friendship, and looking over his shoulder at this other guy and like, did we make it awkward in second period? It's so high school in such a precious way, which Colin and Penelope are also, because they've grown up together and they're still so young. They're such babies. They're like, what, like 20 and 22 or something like that. They're so young. So it just feels right on the nose for them. And it's just like that idea of how different would life be for them if they hadn't taken that plunge, if Penelope hadn't been like, kiss me, and Colin hadn't run after that carriage and all of those things. So always ruin the friendship, just ruin the friendship. And that just feels like it should be the tagline for Penelope and Colin's season. So that being the song on there, perfect for them. Okay, actually romantic is kind of hard, because if you take it fully, like, if you take it for what it actually is, which is like, hey, trolls are the worst, and don't be like this, and your obsession with me is creepy, it feels very like Bear Brook and Daphne is who I thought of. It's like, that's actually romantic, but like, he like is trying to be romantic, I guess, which is almost creepier. If you take it more like vibes, it's enemies to lovers, which is fun. So it feels kind of Kate and Anthony, as just like if you take it not as actually romantic being satirical and like a joke, if you take it as like, no, you are so obsessed with me and you keep talking about me, that's legitimately romantic. And you maybe you should examine that in yourself. That feels very Kate and Anthony. It's like keep poking each other with a stick until they pay attention to me. So I think there's some different interpretations that you could go with that one, but wish list couple options. I feel like Daphne and Simon is very clear for wish list, because Daphne has all of these options. She has all of these people and all of these ways she can go, all of these suitors. She has the prince vying for her affection, and it turns out that she's not caring about title or rank or wealth or whatever. She just wants the guy who's her best friend. And that's very much like what wish list is, and especially since it goes with the, I just want the kids that look like you and whatever, and obviously the having children is such a central part of season 1, so I could see that very much for them. I also think there's an argument for it as Benedict and Sophie, because Benedict has so many options of everything, and, Sophie can have all of these dreams of what it might be in their lives, but in the end, they just want each other. And so I love that for them as well. Okay. And then maybe my favorite pick on this whole thing is Wood for Philip and Eloise. And I can't. It just feels so perfect, because like Plant Daddy and Wood. It also feels like Eloise's sense of humor, that she would enjoy that once she gets maybe a little more sophisticated and understands some more things about how the world works. But it just feels very them. I think that could be accurate. Like, I want a Philip with big dick energy. Like, that's the version of Philip that I need, who's very secure in his masculinity and all of those features of that. But I could very much see, that's the kind of relationship I want for Eloise, is like a Taylor and Travis relationship, where Eloise is the star and she's doing all of these things, and she's like making the world happen, and she's crafting the narrative into what she wants it to be, and whether that's like going to university or working for women's rights and voting or whatever she's doing. And Philip is like, yeah, I'm just Ken. I got her. Like, I think that would be really fabulous. So this song communicates that. And also, I hope for this happiness for Eloise. So I think that's a perfect song for them. Honey feels very Benefy to me because I think about the way that like servants are treated and the way that any, like, especially any woman in the service industry, anybody in the service industry, but especially women, and about how like even now you get called like honey and sweetheart and it's so condescending like all the time. And I'm just thinking about that same thing of like Sophie has dealt with all of these like posh people and they have demeaned her and condescended to her and whatever, and now she has Benedict and he is like among that group of people, but he's completely different and he's recontextualizing all of that trauma and that struggle for her and with her so that it can be, he can call her honey, and it's so precious and just the way that he loves her. And Sophie deserves that kind of love. So I'm really excited for that element, and I think Honey is a good song. Then The Life of a Showgirl I also gave to Sophie and Benedict because I have Benefy on the brain. But it just feels like Sophie and this element of like dreaming and getting kind of used up by the life that she's in. Obviously she gets out of it with a happy ending and, you know, finds, which I really hope, I hope she finds a calling and a life and a perspective and everything, whatever that looks like in her life. And obviously she's going to find Benedict, and that's a huge element, but I'm just really excited to see where she's going, and sequins are forever, Sophie. Like, I hope she finds all the good. Okay. So I absolutely love that. That was delightful, and thank you so much for that question. Okay. And then at Roz Dufty asked, what's your prediction for Michaela's storyline in season 4? Oh boy, was I excited to see this question. I really hope and I believe we're going to get Rake Michaela. I love the idea of a female Rake because we've had all of these male Rakes and it's getting repetitive. Because it's like you had the Duke and then Antony and then they made Colin into one, and I'm like, did not want that. But a female Rake is going to be so refreshing, and I just really love this idea of her like waltzing into the masquerade ball, like maybe dressed in pants. And I'm obsessed with that. And her like slinking off with some dude's wife who he's not interested, he's not doing it right, he's not anything, he just like sucks. And the wife is like, yep, I want Michaela. And I want that as like the groundwork for that character. Obviously I think we're gonna get the yearning from Michaela. I think we're gonna see that, at least hints of it. I wonder if they'll save the kind of reveal that Michaela has been yearning for Francesca the whole time, for like their own season or closer to their own season, so that it can be kind of like a shock and being like, oh, but she hid it well, but like book readers will know, which feels kind of fun. So I could see them going a few different directions with that, but I think that yearning will be an underpinning of every single behavior that Michaela has, whether that's clear on the surface or kind of an underlayer. But yeah, I think she's going to be very much in love with Francesca, burying it in sex, very much like Michael does, in the book. Okay. And then the last question that I have is from Anna Graham. So she asked, how will Benedict react when he discovers Sophie as the Lady in Silver? Will it be the same as the book? And I thought this overall was like a really fascinating question, because I think show Benedict is definitely a different guy than book Benedict. And we talked about that a lot when we went through the book and deep dived everything, that he is a much more like kinder, gentler, more woke, more modern, more feminist, whatever, version of Ben. And I think that his reaction to Sophie will be different, because his reaction in the book is not stellar, which is understandable when you've been lied to. However, his is not stellar in ways that maybe is a little dicey. So I think that he's going to have a different reaction. I am honestly wondering if, because the reveal that the main girl has a secret identity in like episode 6, because that's probably when a reveal happens, because you gotta have all the fallout, feels awfully similar to season 3. So I'm wondering if, in an effort to change that and change things up a little, I'm wondering if they'll either have Benedict figure it out way earlier, like end of episode 4, or like 3 maybe, even, I don't know, but maybe have that as like the mid-season break. So that could be a thing, and a way to kind of shake things up is change the trajectory of the season that way. Or if they have him like find out later, he could, like, I could envision a world wherein he realizes that Sophie's the Lady in Silver, and Benedict is like, thank God, and like runs to her and like kisses her and sweeps her up and is like, marry me, all the things, whatever. And then they have to deal with the fallout, both in their personal relationship and like with the Ton. Because I could see a version of Benedict where he's like, I was so stressed and so freaked out because I was in love with 2 women, and then I just found out that they're the same woman, and great. I have no questions, I have no notes, whatever, it doesn't matter, I'm the luckiest guy alive. At least at the beginning. So I could see that as a way for them to change things up. So I do think that there is going to be some shifts from the book version of events, and also the book Benedict's reactions. I think that they're going to change some things. So I am extremely, extremely excited for season 4. I would like there to be an official date announcement as soon as possible, please and thanks. And I know you guys are all waiting for it too, but yeah. Okay, so next week we are going to dive into the last 4 episodes of Blood of My Blood. I did watch the finale yesterday. I'm going to save my thoughts, but oh my goodness, I have many, many thoughts. So I'm going to save that because I want to talk with Deb about it, and I know you guys want to hear us chat about it. So tune in next week for that. And thank you guys again for all of the fantastic fan questions, because couldn't have had a show today without them. So yeah, they're beautiful and thoughtful, and you guys just make this podcast. So hope you had fun with just me, and we'll be back next week with me and Deb together.